Hey there, happy day. Pajama Grandma Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. In case we haven't met yet, go ahead and put hashtag pajama in the comments. So know it's the first time you're being exposed to the Pajama Grandma, because everybody I want to know everybody that's being exposed to me. I want to make sure that I don't scare you off before we even get started. Today is day 17 of the Supersize Your Business Challenge. Today we're going to talk about processes. Not all about processes, because tomorrow we're going to really jump into process mapping and how you really map out and document what your process is. But I just want to give you an overview of processes and why they're important and how they can help you supersize your business. Now, we have processes for everything. A process is simply how we do things, the way we do things, and whether we know it or not, whether we're conscious of it or not, whether we do it on purpose or kind of randomly, everything we do in our businesses is a process. And hopefully it's a repeatable process so we get consistent results, but in many instances it isn't. Sometimes in some businesses it's just a random act of delivery. And those are the ones that we want to shore up, because to supersize our businesses, we need to be doing things more on purpose than randomly. I don't know of any businesses that are randomly supersized. It's always got someone driving and understanding and doing certain things on purpose. Maybe some of it is random and happenstance, but the vast majority of it has to be intentional. So a process is just how we do things. Now, the last couple of days we've spent talking about strategies and possible strategies for supersizing your business. And I'm hoping that at this point, and it's entirely up to you, that you've picked a strategy that you know will help you move the needle from where you are now to where you want to be the fastest. I, for example, I'm transitioning from offline brick and mortar businesses to the online world of business. So I'm taking my one-on-one coaching and I'm transitioning that to a group coaching model. And I need to do several components of that online in order to make that happen and to supersize and be able to scale that. So that's what I'll be using as my example to share over the next few days as we walk through the details of the process. Now, how we do things, whether we understand it or not, whether we're conscious of it or not, I said that, we've got a way of doing things. From the way we brush our teeth, to the way we fix our hair, to the way we interact with people, the way we raise our kids, the way we treat our employees, the way we hire, the way we fire. Everything we do in a certain way. And all a process is the actual certain way we do things. Have you ever worked for an employer or worked in a company and you go in and you're trained by somebody else? It's called on-the-job training. Very common, especially in smaller organizations, but even in big organizations. On-the-job training is the process. You're learning the process and it's being passed from one person to the next. And that's their process of training, is on-the-job training. If you ever watched a famous athlete, say a pitcher, I'm not a big sports person, but a pitcher or a jockey, a horse race jockey, or a tennis player, or I'm trying to think of some more, but sports analogies are really good, because if you watch a good pitcher, every time he pitches, and he'll go through a certain routine or ritual, because we human beings, we love routines and rituals. It helps us to get more done and automatically do things. If you had to think about how you brush your teeth every single time you brush your teeth, it would be overwhelming. But since you have a ritual and a way of doing it, how many drinks of water or how many times you brush each tooth or the direction that you brush, we all have our different rituals for that, or habits of doing that. If you had to think about that every time, it would be too overwhelming. And we would never get anything done. If we had to consciously think of everything that we do, if we had to consciously remember to breathe, we wouldn't be able to do anything else but remember to breathe. We'd just be like amoebas or something, that all we do is what we do, and that would be all we could accomplish. But humans are slated for much more than that. So if you watch a pitcher, they go through this same ritual, this same interesting way of behaving. And if you're very observant, you can see that they change up their ritual slightly for every different type of pitch that they throw, which if you're a really good observer, and I think it's probably pretty difficult because there's so many different pitchers and there's so many different teams that you would play, but a really good hitter would be observing the ritual that a certain pitcher uses and then anticipate the type of a ball they're going to throw and be much more likely to connect with that ball and hit a home run or a base hit or whatever it is that they call it. But all of us, even if we're not famous pitchers or athletes, we all have rituals and routines that we follow, ways of behaving that are observable and predictable. Now, I believe we should make those ways of behaving ways that we are cool with people observing and predicting, but we don't always do that. A lot of us, the vast majority of us, just behave in ways on autopilot and automatically. So that's enough discussion about processes. I think you get what a process is. It's just the way we do stuff. So today's action, I want you to think about, excuse me, the strategy that you selected, me, online coaching, you, whatever it is for you. Maybe it's you want to get customers on autopilot. Maybe it's, or you want to find a way to get, let's just say you want to find a way, your process of getting customers, your process of getting new customers. Maybe it's the way you do a certain part of your manufacturing process. Maybe it's the way you deliver what it is that you deliver. Maybe you have an agency or a coaching business or something like that. Maybe it's the way you actually deliver your coaching that has to be considered. Maybe you're an author. It's the way you go about writing your books and or sharing your books. Pick one process that you want to look at. Pick for one strategy, the one that you think is going to get you the biggest bang for the buck. And we're going to talk about that over the next few days. One of the cool things I did in corporate America to understand how everything worked better in the organization I would have joined is I would pretend I was an order, whatever we were doing. I worked for a big industrial bakery once, and I pretended I was an order from one of our customers going through the entire process. And that was really, really powerful in helping me understand the different processes that things had to go through to just go from the time a customer said, I want 6 dozen donuts, to those 6 dozen donuts being delivered to that customer. And if you're having a hard time thinking of a process, think of something like that. Think of if somebody was doing business with you, what do they go through? And that'll pretty quickly show you the number one area that you need to shore up and need to work on over the next couple of days. That's it. Have a fantastic day. I will see you tomorrow with day 18, where we're going to really dig into that process and how to map that process out. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.